this is Carla Michelle. I am here. This is number 4, part 4 of a 5-part series on Hello 2021. Today we are talking about taking up space. Taking up space. So if this is your first time with me, welcome. If you visit here often, nice to have you back. As always, if you're an Apple Podcast listener, please rate us. 5 stars are great. It helps. Rankings help. In this world, you know how it is. So liking us means a lot. And I am so glad to have you here today. If you do not know me, my name is Carla Michelle. I am a coach and consultant. I coursework in business psychology, PhD, master's in marriage and family therapy. And so I mix the two. It's like I coach with a psychotherapy background. It's like I can go there with you and I use what may be hindering you to take you to the next level, so that we just get past those roadblocks and those hiccups that are hindering you from achievement, from breaking out of your sameness, from leveling up, and from being strong. Remember, strategic, talented, resilient, optimistic, and necessary so you can go global. If not the world, your world. And I just released a book. Yes, I did. And it is on Amazon. It's called The Strong Woman's Playbook. And check it out. The Strong Woman's Playbook, Become Your Greatness. And if you're looking, you're going to have to put S period, T period, R period. You get it. You're going to have to do strong like that for it to show up. But you can also visit Dr. Carla Inc. and the link is there. All right. So back to taking up space. We have been talking. Part 1 is letting go in the past. Part 2 was situational focus. Part 3 was stand in your power. Okay, so if you're here today and you have not listened to part 1, part 2, part 3, go back and listen to it after you hear this. It can all be listened to in its entirety as part 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can also listen to it individually. But I believe it just builds momentum into preparing you for 2021. Yes, we are here. This is actually, I'm recording on New Year's Eve, the last day of 2020. And whoa, we made it. We made it. And a big thank you for those who have been with me in 2020, for holding strong, for keeping your head up, for showing up for me. And as I have been showing up for you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Share this podcast. Share what I do with your friends, with your family, with your coworkers. And, just come on in this network of love, this network of strong, this network of vision. All right? Taking up space. Here we go. Oh, wow. What do you think about that? What do you think about taking up space? I know that it could be uncomfortable to take up space. A client and I, we have this. If you listen to Do the Work, See the Results podcast, my client Stephanie Martinzi, we talk about splatting, and I think we talk about it in there, but I don't know. We talk about it every time we meet. And splatting is another way of taking up space. We show up in meetings, we show up with family and friends, and we're in a conversation, and our legs are crossed, our arms are crossed, and we're just closed off. We're like almost trying to hide, almost trying to be invisible. We're like so contorted, and it's like, even now, I didn't think about this before I started recording, but even now I think about how as women, we were taught that we need to cross our legs and cross our hands and sit like we're just nothing. Well, I don't want to say nothing. That's pretty strong. But you get what I'm saying? We're just closed in, right? Where men or males are more the all over the place. Their legs are wide open, their arms are out, and we're all just closed in. And this is talking about taking up space, owning what's yours, owning the space that you're in, and then maybe splatting in over into some other areas, right? It is easy to, because of whatever we have gone through, you have gone through in the past. So we use our body language says a lot. And one of the advantages of having a psychotherapy background is I am very aware of a lot of things when I sit with a client. We could be talking about your business. We could be talking about your goals. We could be strategizing on your next steps. But I'm also aware of a lot of other attributes while we're talking. I'm watching you. And it's not like I'm squawking, is that not even a word? It's not like I'm staring. That's the word. I'm just very observant of the whole situation of what's happening while you're talking, while you're exploring, while we're digging. I'm just very aware of the things, how you say things. Really, I'm really keen to that. What your body language, what your body is telling me. You're talking to me even when you could be telling me something else with your mouth. You're talking to me with your body as well. So that helps me dissect and to understand what's really going on and really to understand what the roadblocks could be. So, taking up space. I know we're taught as young ladies and women to, be quiet and not be seen. Don't be loud and boisterous. If you're that loud girl, you that ratchet type of chick, don't be that. You're a lady. You can be a freak in the bed, but you're a lady on the streets. And, we're taught to be quiet in a meeting, well, we're not taught anymore, but we've learned that we're to be quiet and not speak up until we're spoken to on a lot of things, or if there's men in the room, to kind of give them that leeway of being a leader. There is more male leaders than there are female leaders, and if you are a female leader, sometimes we have to move into our male energy to kind of take up space. It's hard for some to know the harmony between the male and the female energy that could be in the room. So as times as we move up in an organization that is not ours, because we're working for someone, we seem some to show up more in the male energy, and that is so that we can fit in. But that's a whole nother subject, and I kind of touch on that in my book a little bit, but that's a whole nother subject. So what do I mean about taking up space? What I'm saying is it's okay to be confident. Remember yesterday we talked about standing in your power, or in part 3, we talked about standing in your power. So taking up space is equivalent, is the next step to standing in your power. Because when you stand in your power, you're going to take up some space. Yes, you are. People are going to feel you. People are going to acknowledge you because you're standing in who you are and what you've been called to do. It's going to take up some space, right? So standing and taking up space reminds me of Shonda Rhimes. Shonda Rhimes did some great thing. She just released a new season of Bridgerton, I think. And if I'm getting it wrong, I apologize. But she just did this great new series on Netflix. But I think about her and it's Shondaland. It's not, and it could be Shonda World, but it's Shondaland, like Disneyland. It's big. You think of it. So she says, this is her. I always think that the most important thing to feel like you belong in every room you're in. And that is taking up space. believing you belong, believing that you belong when you show up, even when people are made a thought that you don't belong or you don't deserve something. You still belong to be in that position. You still belong to be in that family. You belong. You belong. You have it, right? And then, people will try to tell you, this ain't for you. This position is not for you. Oh, I mean, I know I have 4 kids, and the things that people would tell me walking around with 4 kids in the grocery store or on a sidewalk or at a park, or the stares I would get, it was like they could not believe. And my kids are fairly close in age, and so I was doing it right, and but you feel that pressure of just to shrink and be invisible. But it's not okay. We need to take up physical space. Just not so we can talk about the emotional and the mental, but we also need to take up the physical space, right? And it comes from what you feel inside. So right, standing in your power helps you take up the physical space. And your body shows your confidence. Your body shows your confidence. I don't know if you ever heard of the term power posing. And I love the work that I was able to do in some of my personal development was to find your power pose. Find your power pose. We can go in that Wonder Woman pose, or we can go with a fist in the air. We can go with our arms looking like, we're strong. But find your power pose. And it's something that you would want to do. It's like when you're going into a situation to get in your power pose. Have you ever talked to someone who is maybe a fireman or a policeman or something like that? They have that pose they do. It's like their legs are open, their arms are crossed. It's a stance, it's a power pose, what's your power pose? Where is it that we know that you are ready and you're not playing, right? Find that power pose in 2021. Find that power pose so you know when you need it, when you're feeling a little about yourself, a little questionable, hit that power pose. It could be that model pose you like to do. It could be that dance you like to do. Get into that. Have a moment in that pose where you feel like you are in a high power stance, right? A high power stance. Poses can impact your day. It can impact your moment. It can have effects on your thoughts, right? If you hit that pose, it's like trigger. Yeah, it's like, okay. Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm doing this. I got this. I'm doing it. I'm making it happen. And another thing we need to do is take up space with our words. We deserve you. Let me say this. Listen to me. All the other stuff you're doing, I don't know what you're doing right now, but give me 10 seconds. You ready? Okay. Your voice deserves to be heard. Your voice deserves to be heard. Some of the passive aggressiveness that is used is because majority of those believe that their voice does not deserve to be heard, so they get into passive aggressive ways. They don't use their words. They use silent treatment, or they use some emotional type of abuse. But I can almost bet that somewhere in their life they felt that their voice did not count, so they gave up trying to communicate, and they moved into manipulating in other ways to get their point across. Yes. I said that. So check that out. When someone is passive aggressive, you almost want to see, discover if, and don't go asking them, but you can almost see that they have not taken the right that they have to speak up and their voice to count, right? So taking up space means also to find the strength to believe that what you say is valid. And I know that this doesn't necessarily mean that it just happens today, as soon as you listen to this. It can for some. Some could just make a decision. Remember, we talked about in part 1, decisions, in place of resolutions. 2021 is my decisions I'm making in 2021, right? So your decision could be to realize how amazing and valid your voice is, and take up space with your voice, and talk to yourself. If your voice is not used to being heard, plan it. I have a course called Communicating for Success, and one of the communication styles is the passive communication style. They're the ones that are usually bullied or are not seen in the room, and it's hard for them to be put on the spot. But one of the techniques I give in the course Communication for Success is to speak up, but to plan how and when you'll speak up. So a meeting's coming. And I've done this with clients. A meeting's coming and you've been sitting back believing that your voice is not valid. And this meeting, these coming up meetings in 2021, you're picking a time that you are going to say something, an opinion, an insight, a solution. You are going to say something, because you've got to get out of that habit of silence, because it's not serving you, right? So speak up in your meetings, speak up, especially women. Oh my God. Okay, how many of you are looking to date in 2021? So I'm sure, hopefully, the world will open up soon, and the dating fun will be back in full swing. There's some great dating happening virtually, but full swing. Speak up on your dates. I think of the movie Coming to America. If you're not familiar with that, there's this scene that she basically says when she's marrying the prince, whatever you want. But he's asking her, what do you want? And she's like, whatever you want, and she's hopping on one foot. But okay, that's not serving you, because you know what? You know what you want, and eventually you're going to get frustrated if you continue in this dating process and you're serious eventually, and you've just created your partner knowing that you just like whatever you want, and then you get frustrated, and then you don't want to be with them anymore, and they're confused because you let them get away with everything they wanted, and now you want to have a voice 2 years later or 6 months later. Have your voice from the beginning. Have your voice from the beginning. All right? You've got to understand that your voice counts. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear what you got to do. I'm going to hear what you want to do, right? Even when you're with a therapist or a coach, speak up. Speak your mind, your frustrations. That is your place. That's your safe place. That's the place you want to use your voice and take up space and be you. I love the client that would come in and sprawl out on my couch. Now, like I said, I'm not a therapist. I am a coach. So, to see a client spread out on my couch, just relax. But that was them taking up space, and that's what they needed, because outside of my office, they had to be contained. They had to be in this box. And so to see them just get that comfortable brought joy to me. So take up space. And I want to tell you this, with your ideas, with what's happening and your desires that you have for 2021, the decisions that you've made, if the dream, if the idea is coming to you, that is all the validation you need. I'm going to say that again. It's all the validation that you need. If it's come to you, run with it. Take up space with that, right? Work hard and I say that lightly because work hard, people think that they cannot have some harmony in their life. But take up space in your room. Take up space in your lane. Take up space. Own it. Own it. I mentioned Clubhouse. Clubhouse is this app now that's fairly new. It actually came out in 2020. And in there, you can have rooms. And I shared this story a couple of parts ago about getting into making my own room. And oh my gosh, man, I was so nervous and all blah, blah. And it just, it all worked out. But I had to fill that space of my own room that I had created to be in and to be in charge of. And I had to get rid of fear. And I want to share this with you too. So say you're speaking and you're not used to it and you've got to do some things, or you're just nervous about something coming up and your nerves are on high alert as it's about to take place. All you need, I can suggest, I shouldn't say all you need. Try this. I want to put it that way. 5 breaths. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. That's 1. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. That's 2. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. That's 3. Get the idea? Do 5 of those. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And something triggers in your brain to calm down. And you begin to calm down. Because sometimes it's our thoughts. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, what if I say something wrong? Everybody's going to be staring at me. What if I'm stupid and I say da 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 da? Oh, I can't write that book. I'm probably going to have this and that. It's going to be that and da 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 da. Okay, this conversations. I can't do a podcast because then and I don't know that I don't sound like it and I do. You've got this. I can't be in a relationship because they're going to find out who I really am and all that. Breathe. I can't ask for that promotion because and then they'll know because that one time I didn't quite do it and I was out of work a lot because I was sick, but yet I know I'm good at okay, breathe. Try the breathing, right? Every minute, every day, let me start over. Every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, to the end of this year, you have opportunities to stand and to take up space. I want you to take up that space. I want you to really take it and feel it and own it and be in it and share it and invite other people in your space that you trust and know, and then also be okay to have people in your space that you are not quite sure about because you're standing in your power. So in 2021, it's about expanding. It's about moving out of yourself and into what 2020 held us so. We had stay-at-home orders. It kind of pushed us back into this incubator. And I don't know what 2021 holds. But I know that even if it is more staying at home, we need to be in a place where we still fill the space that we need to fill. And we still need to do the things we need to do and find out ways how to do it. And what's within us can help us, because wherever there's a problem, there is a solution, and it's in you, and that's a way you take up space. So, I love these times with you. I do. This is part 4 And we have one more tomorrow. And that is actually talking about, again, we're going to go over some decisions, just some wrap up and get you, because 2021 is here. So we're just going to go over some things and just recap and get some more good stuff. I don't want to tell you too much, but yes, stand up, as we learned yesterday. Stand in your power. Part 3. Part 4. Take up space. Take up space. Take up space. I want you to hear me in your head when you try to shrink back and play invisible. Not on my watch. Okay. This is Carla Michelle. Thank you for your time. Thank you for pushing play. Thank you for listening to me. I don't know if you're on Apple Podcasts or Google. Is it Google Play? Yes, Google Play, Pandora, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you're listening. Thank you for taking the time. Do not forget to share with a friend, an enemy, a family member, your mom, your grandma, your auntie. Share it and come on board. Follow me on Instagram on Instagram at Miss Carla Michelle, MsCarlamIchelle, drcarlainc.com. If you go ahead and order the book, you can find the link to Amazon right there. Order the book. And if you do a book club, I want to be there when you guys finish. I want to be a guest, and we can do a Zoom. Just let me know, and it's great. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for all you're doing. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening. I am so freaking proud of you. Take up space. I want to hear your stories. Keep in touch. All right. Until next time, stay strong.